the None of the Above podcast with Andrew and Azim.
Yeah, welcome back to a wonderful, wonderful podcast. Can't put it in the box, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Unique. Anyways, so I'm gonna start off this segment by saying, oh my goodness, I have finally begun to watch the one and only Breaking Bad, and I have to say, it is literally one of the greatest stories on any medium you could possibly think of. So much about it is great, and it's brilliant. And within a span of 5 days, I have already reached season 5. Because I had to take a break, because, you know, my binge watching skills are only so good. But, yeah. It's pretty crazy. It's a really good show. I was a very cynical man about this. I was also, you know, a hipster, because I was like, oh, it's mainstream, it can't be that good. Well, there is a reason why it's mainstream.
Because it's amazing.
It's amazing. And like, just exactly what he said, it's amazing. It's literally the greatest thing ever. Not the greatest thing ever. There's still, in my opinion, there are still stories that are better than that. But on TV, it has to be at least...
It's definitely up there. It's one of the most influential shows, I think, because they brought a lot of revolutionary, the cinematography, because I think that's an underrated thing with cinematography.
Oh my goodness.
Because people don't really...
I mean, cinematography is pretty much... It's kind of like giving you subconscious signals.
Yeah.
But when you're conscious of them, you can just appreciate it that much more. And that's what Breaking Bad brings. Not just that, because obviously the script. Though
yeah,
it's not one of the best writings I've ever, you know, seen, but it's definitely just when it needs to be good, and when it wants to intensify a scene, or when it wants to make a scene sad, or you really want to tune in, the script really pulls through. It is so quotable. Breaking Bad, that's one of the features. It's quotable. It's great. Cinematography, again, there is a lot of symbolism in almost every scene. You know, every shot is necessary. Everything about it is necessary. Characters are great. Never a character that's really lacking.
Yeah, they have a lot of dimension to them.
Maybe there's like, in a flashback, there's like a bad child actor, but that's kind of a given because it's a child actor. But even then, it's not like a terrible child actor, you know? It's like, you can totally watch the scene and be like, I can maybe see like a few episodes with him in there. I mean, it's never going to happen because it's like a once in a lifetime like flashback, but still, you know. So it's just great. Everyone that casted is great. I feel like everyone does a brilliant job of what they do. I can't speak more about Breaking Bad because it's just that amazing. You have to watch it. And it definitely is a huge impact on the cinematography world. One of the staples of our awesome millennial generation. So, definitely.
I'd say so. I mean, it's been a couple years since I've seen it because I was watching it back when season 2 was already out, and I think it was on Netflix at that point. Whenever it was on Netflix, that's when I watched it, and I thought it was really great. But then again, you know, I've seen it. It's been a few years or a couple of years, so my memory is not going to be just perfect on every little detail about it. Mm-hmm. But overall, I remember a lot about it. There's a very motivational speech with, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it with like Walt and Skyler, how he does the "I am the danger" speech.
Yeah.
Well, it was like an iconic speech, and
I am the one who knocks.
Mm-hmm. Well, Samuel L. Jackson actually, for a charity event, actually quoted it and like read the script and like he acted it out himself.
Oh, really?
And it was the most intense thing because that, like, yeah, it shows the actors are great, but it also just shows like if you take just a different actor and a little bit of different interpretation because it was more of a Samuel L. Jackson feel to it.
Yeah.
But it was like it still shows how great the writing, especially that speech, was to show how powerful it is and show how he's changed and all that.
Definitely, you can totally rival that with Shakespeare. No, seriously.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, fine. No, but seriously,
English teachers are like cringing at us now. Like, why would you do that?
You're comparing Breaking Bad to Shakespeare? Hey, I mean, you really can.
This is our show. We do what we want.
I mean, that's how you know it's a great script. If you can get literally just anyone and make them look awesome, just by like giving them words to speak, you've won. You have won at your job. Script writers, you are amazing. Thank you so much for what you do. Because Breaking Bad is on point. Yeah, Breaking Bad. You have to watch it. I cannot tell you enough.
Yeah, we're trying to avoid all the spoilers and all that stuff to give people a chance that haven't seen it to actually see it.
Yeah.
That's why we're not going into detail about certain scenes and stuff.
That's just another thing, though. I have to comment on the fan base. Because I have not seen any spoilers for Breaking Bad on the internet. I have, like, gone on there, on, the great big web, and I have not seen a single spoiler. Obviously, there's going to be videos that will have spoilers, but there's, like, a spoiler tag or a spoiler warning, so I kind of like, okay, I'll not watch this video. Or even in the comments sometimes. Now, I know the Game of Thrones fan base are vigorous, and they'll kill someone in the comments section if they don't have a spoiler tag up. Yeah. So I know that's a thing.
Yeah,
but it's cool to see that in another fan base too. So, yeah. Obviously, I'm late to the Breaking Bad universe, but hey, dedicated, hardcore fan right here. I love the show to death. I really do. I'm so glad that, like, all of those years of not watching it, I still avoided the spoilers because I'm like, hey, one day I'm going to sit down and I'm going to watch Breaking Bad. And that day was, like, 5 days ago. Like,
yeah.
July what was it, like, 4th? Yeah, July the 4th.
America Day.
Oh, yeah! 4th of July.
Happy American
That's
Day.
Hardcore American right there.
So American.
Watching American entertainment, eating American food. Yeah. July 4th was great, actually. I thought I had a good time. Yeah. Pretty good. We should talk about that later. Anyways, the state of TV, though. So, how exactly, let's talk about, like, let's kind of think of some shows that, like, kind of rival Breaking Bad. And not, like, rival as in competitive, but rival as in, or how are they, like, parallel, Because Game of Thrones is one.
We said, like, Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead. Walking
has
Dead,
a lot of
Breaking
similarities.
Bad, Game of Thrones.
And we said, like, Dexter has some similarities.
Yeah. Dexter does. And I think with these shows, which I would like to say are pretty much the top shows.
Yeah, they're all very well received, I think.
The critically acclaimed shows. The ones that have, like, a oomph when you talk about them. And they're like, whoa, you're talking about that show.
Yeah, I mean...
You're awesome.
Strangers could talk about it.
Yeah. Definitely those well-received shows, they all share a characteristic. I would like to say it's a characteristic of a moral ambiguousness.
Yeah, like moral ambiguity.
Yeah, that. Yeah. And how exactly does that reflect modern culture? Are we asking more morally ambiguous questions these days? I'd certainly like to think we are.
I think a lot of it is the villain and the hero is no longer black and white.
Yeah. Empathy now. We're feeling more empathetical to both sides now.
Because, as a little kid, I watched the Batman, it was like the 60s or 50s Batman.
Oh, really?
Like the really goofy,
yeah.
but like
even Batman the Animated Series,
well that was grittier, I think.
It was. I mean, it was still obviously. Oh, Batman's a good guy.
We definitely had that good and evil. Like this was definitely good. This was definitely evil. I think, but it's been a while since I've watched that too. Because there's a few scenes I think where that Batman, the new Batman, Terry McGinnis, something like that.
Oh yeah.
The black, all black with the red Batman.
Oh, you talking about
Batman Beyond?
Yeah, Batman Beyond. Oh, that was a chill show.
Yeah, but I was thinking Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Because like he said in a scene that he fought dirty. You know, he'd like kick someone where they don't want to be kicked to win a fight. So there's a little bit of that too. But back to
this
the moral ambiguity of shows. I think a lot of times I guess we're as a culture tired of the narrative that things are just good and things are just evil and that's it.
Yeah, I could totally bring in one example. LGBT. There was a time where that was thought to be completely immoral. People still think that today. But now it's sort of, okay, let's actually sit down and talk. Let's actually, why are they like this or something like that.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, it's, not something I really care about because I'm straight, and I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure you're straight.
I'm pretty sure Andrew's straight too. Yeah. But yeah, so it's totally. Now we're becoming more tolerant, and we're trying to accept different things, trying to feel, okay, is this really such a bad thing? And I'm a very gray person, I've never really existed in that black and white world that, things are inherently good or things are inherently evil. I've always been a part of the philosophy, like, okay, you have to be, if you're good, you have to be a little bit bad, There's always a shadow, or there's always a light to every situation. But yeah, that's just how
everyone has their yin and yang.
Yeah, everyone has that yin, everybody has that yang, everyone's two-faced in a sense. But not even two-faced, you'd say like three-faced, four-faced, five-faced. Everyone is different.
There's different aspects about everyone, and that's why it's so hard to put people in boxes and say, like, they are this. And I mean, that reflects to our name, none of the above. Yeah.
You could also say it's above all. Well, no, not really. All of the above? No, none of the above.
None of the above.
Everybody is none of the above. It's because, like, are you angry? Are you sad? No. You're none of the above. You're something else completely. You're probably happy. But anyways, yeah. So it's pretty cool. Moral, ambiguous, ambiguity.
Yeah.
I suck at life. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, he does.
I'm letting you down.
Yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, there's just so many things now. I mean, distrust for the government is another big thing, especially here in the United States. If we happen to have any international people who are listening in, that would be awesome. But I doubt that by like a long shot.
I hope someone listens.
Yeah,
That'd be
someone
cool.
international listens. That would be great.
There's like one dude, like
if you're from South Somalia, if that's even a thing.
Shout outs to them.
Shout outs to everybody who's someone who isn't from America. Have a good day. If you're from America too, though, you have an awesome day. America.
It's easy to have an awesome day here.
I think people really misjudge the United States a lot. Like, a lot of people like to think that the United States is, kind of everybody supports what the government does.
Oh yeah, that's true. Because we do have a.
You gotta remember, we're at least double the size of Europe. There's no way everybody is going to agree on what our country does.
True.
We have a lot of people, and a lot of people like different things. Just saying. So yeah, if you think that everybody is in support on the war on terror. I guarantee you, not everybody in America is.
Yeah, war on terror.
I'd say half. Maybe
war
a
on
little
drugs.
bit. A little bit less than half is probably in support of all those things. But really, not everybody is. People like pick and choose everything. The more I think about it, the more this is just really convoluted. It's just like there's just so much. It's just a huge conglomerate of ideals and stuff that just contradict each other in here in this country.
Yeah.
Which is why states' rights is important.
I mean, tying that back into TV shows, White Collar is a show that I thoroughly enjoyed. Apparently, they have a new season on Netflix I'm going to have to watch.
Yeah.
But, it's a show, if you haven't heard of it, it's the main premise is there's a guy who he's very smart, and he's an art forager, and he's very crafty. He does like jewel heists, and he'll like forge art, and he'll say like this was a Van Gogh, whatever, and then he'll sell it like it's a Van Gogh.
Yeah.
And then he'll make all this money from it. And the FBI tracked him down because obviously you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
So he goes to jail eventually. I mean, they're chasing him for a long time. And so all this happens, and he strikes a deal with one of the FBI agents saying, hey, if I help you catch bad guys, can I get out of jail, essentially, and have a tracking anklet and not be living in the jail, like report to you every day, help you work like I'm another government employee helping you catch bad guys because I know how bad guys think since I am one. Will they let you do that? And it goes back and forth for a while, and they eventually do it. And this is all the first episode, so I'm not spoiling it really anything. But you notice a lot of the distrust for the government, and you'll have different government officials kind of do stuff they're not supposed to, or they'll bend the law to like take advantage of people, or they'll use like for example, one example is like someone used the Patriot Act to like find something good for his wife, which I mean that's kind of shady in itself, like
kind of funny.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of used as kind of making fun of him a little bit, I think. Because what he does is he takes the Patriot Act and tracks down all of her web activity and, like, sees what website she was going on to, like, get ideas for a present for her. Which, I mean, obviously that's not very malicious, but it's still kind of on the principle of just...
Tax dollars, really? Come on.
But it's just, it's using it for not what it's intended to. Sure, it's not like trying to get blackmail on someone. But that's still not like how it should be used. And then several examples of like that in that show just shows that kind of distrust for the government. Even if they are FBI agents. Even some of the FBI agents don't trust the system or the government because XYZ reason. Insert spoiler here. Yeah.
I mean, distrust for the government has been around for a long time.
I think the first like mainstream thing was the whole Vietnam protest and all that.
Yeah, that's when it really kicked in. That's when distrust for the government in the which the United States was a superpower at that time, right? One of the only ones, wasn't it? Like USSR and
well, because I think around that time the Soviet stuff was crumbling and they weren't really a superpower. Well, now, I could be wrong, but I know there's a period of time where like it was just United States and Russia.
Well, Vietnam was Nixon was president, and wasn't Lyndon B. Johnson president too during Vietnam? Because the Soviet Union didn't actually crumble until the near end of Vietnam, and then it fully crumbled when Reagan was president.
Yeah, and the whole Mr. Gorbachev almost wall stuff.
Yeah.
In 87. Yeah, in 1987, that was a thing. the whole collapse.
Yeah.
So we had that, the two superpowers kind of going against each other.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, America wanted to kind of show that we are this high mighty force that kind of can tell other people what to do in a way. And a lot of people try to frame it and say, oh, it's in good intent, and oh, it's for democracy and stuff like that, which I think most people do have good intent for it, genuinely, but I always think there's, what else?
It's almost like doublethink in the sense, kind of like in the War on Terror. It's like you're thinking it's branded as like a really good thing.
Yeah.
And it's, in a lot of sense, hey, it is a pretty good thing. But at the same time, you're contradicting yourself with another thought that's a terrible idea. So because of that, you kind of are just passive about the situation. You don't really take a stance.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of strangely labeling stuff like the Patriot Act.
Yeah, making it sound, is it really, it's not even patriotic.
No, it's like kind of the opposite. Okay, we can, this makes us spy on everyone so we can catch terrorists.
George Orwell back in like the 1960s already predicted that.
Well,
because wasn't 1984 was made in the 60s, right?
That was made in like the 40s.
40s, 50s, 60s.
I don't know.
They were all conformists then. It's all the same. But yeah, pretty cool. So so we can obviously see that doublethink is in fact taking place these days.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy to think about. But it's not nearly at the scale it was thought to be in. And the United States is kind of taking that to heart a little bit. Now, I doubt that we'll be having much more of that.
So it was published in 1949.
1949?
Yeah, I just looked it up because it was bugging me so much. 1984 was 1949, so it wasn't the late 40s.
I totally thought it was the... Okay, I was 20 years off. About 20 years off.
It's all good. Well, I mean, you're like 11 years off, I guess. I don't know.
Whatever. But yeah.
Facts, yeah.
That's really cool. The entire doublethink being kind of present right now. Of course, and goodness, war is peace. One of the, war is peace, freedom is slavery. What was the other one? Ignorance is strength.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like war is peace and ignorance is strength are pretty common. You can find like plenty of examples about that. Of just like people being ignorant about a lot of things that go on in the government. Although I've never really been around a lot of people that are ignorant of what actually goes on, so I can't really say if ignorance is strength is true. Because I don't know that many ignorant people.
Honestly, my patience for them is just not there. And I just don't associate with a lot of those people.
And that's only because, I've taken like all AP since...
Yeah, that's me too, yeah.
Since forever ago. And the amount of exposure I've had to people who are less fortunate to have accessed information has simply just been
not really
a very low level.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely considered privileged in that way.
Oh, yeah.
I acknowledge that, and there is, I think there is merit to that whole, like, I know how off topic we're getting, but, oh well.
Hey, I mean, it goes on with modern day culture, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
So how can we tie that into a TV show?
I don't know. What's a good one? Oh, I know. We can go back to Breaking Bad.
Okay,
because the people are ignorant of the schemes behind a normal chemistry teacher. So, that's the thing.
Yeah, so...
Or a man who owns a popular chicken restaurant chain. So, that's also a thing.
That is a thing.
So, yeah. Don't trust anybody, but trust everybody. Because you can see that in Breaking Bad, actually. Now that I think about it. it's sort of like everybody, has that two-face. So you can't really trust everybody. But in a lot of cases, they trust people just on their word. Like, have you ever noticed that in the dialogue?
I'm trying to remember because it's been 2 years.
Obviously, it's a lot like a chess game, of course. Obviously, like there's still a bunch of reasoning behind why they say what they say and why they say it so articulately. Is because if they say it one wrong way, then their entire thing is screwed up. But also the alliances that they make, it's to be 10 steps ahead or something. And just every action that they do. But in some cases, when how can you possibly trust a man who's probably going to kill you in a few days? That's the thing. It's just there is quite a bit of trust that actually goes on in there. It's really neat, and that's just another reason why Breaking Bad is just so cool. Now that's also apparent in I'm trying to think, what is it? In Game of Thrones, Dexter.
Yeah, because he lives that. There's only one cop that was even thought of Dexter being weird.
Yeah.
Because he was never disturbed by hardly anything because he was a psychopath or sociopath or
psychopath.
I think psychopath.
He was a psychopath.
But
he did it with good morals. He was a good psychopath.
Yeah, that's debatable, but
it's completely debatable.
Well, that's the thing is even in that show
again,
there's a part where
moral ambiguity.
Yeah, there is a part where it's he's killing people, but he's only killing murderers. So, and it's only murderers that quote unquote didn't get away or did get away with it.
Yeah, like cold cases, really.
Yeah,
or kind of. I don't know.
Where the evidence was there and it was proven that they did kill people, and he never killed someone unless he knew they were murderers.
Yeah. But then that's kind of there's the argument that it's barbaric.
Oh yeah.
Killing people who should be killed because killing is wrong.
Yeah, we show people that killing's wrong by killing them. Yeah.
Killing the killers is perfectly fine, even though that makes you a killer.
Yeah, so, it's kind of
an endless cycle of killing.
Yeah.
And so that's the reason why we have institutions to begin with, is to help people not become killers. So we don't have to kill them. But then we don't know what goes on in everybody's minds. So until we have really good telepathy with people, that's going to be a good solution.
Yeah,
I always found Hammurabi's code to be awesome. So,
which is
Hammurabi. It was Hammurabi's code was one of the first codes of law in the ancient world, and pretty much it would be if you say a curse word to a noble or somebody, you get your tongue cut off, or if you speak a lie, or if you do treason or something like that, or anything that involved a body part or something, or if you kill someone's son, your son will die.
So an eye for an eye.
Yeah, it was an eye for an eye. That's pretty much what it was. That was what it was.
Okay.
And that was.
Yeah, I just didn't know it was called that. Honestly, the hero who Hammurabi's law. Or Hammurabi's...
Yeah, Hammurabi's
code.
Law. Whatever. Okay. Just look up Hammurabi's rule.
Okay. so that's essentially just eye for an eye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really interesting stuff there.
Learn stuff every day.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I'm saying a lot, pretty crazy. But it all really is crazy. And then, of course, you have Game of Thrones, which is probably the most morally ambiguous thing I've ever seen, because characters you would not think would do things will do things, but it would make sense because you're well, that thing did lead up to that, and that kind of
So it was a justified bad thing, essentially.
Well, nothing's just it. That's kind of the point, It's sort of to say, hey, was it justified? And then you're kind of I have no idea. Now, there was this one huge event that had happened that got the entire community to just take two sides. One side was significantly larger, and the other side was obviously a minority. I was a part of the minority. I was totally like, hey, you know, he did it for a good cause. So, yeah. And you can say, I mean, he did it for a really good cause. In my opinion, a cause that completely outweighed everything else, every other option. Even though there was only like two options, and in my opinion, he chose the less narcissistic route. But people don't like that because I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I don't understand why everybody's against just that single action.
Yeah, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so I can't be like,
should.
yeah. Because I don't know. I can't really agree or disagree on that, just because I don't know.
Talking about TV shows, I've kind of come up with like a rule of thumb that works for pretty much me only. A lot of people say you need to watch, like, you know, the first couple of episodes to get into a TV show.
Yeah.
No. You watch the first episode, and if you can get in, and if you find anything you remotely like, just this, like, something that kind of captivates your attention in the first episode, you should probably just watch it.
I mean, I don't know, because I didn't feel that way about Breaking Bad, honestly.
Really? You didn't like the first episode?
I thought it was weird. I mean, because keep in mind, like, I didn't really watch stuff like that much.
Oh, okay, well...
But, like, it was like Bryan Cranston, like, running around in his underwear going like, no, 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 and just, like,
okay, no, that was weird.
And I was just like, what?
That was a really,
What is going on?
That was a weird first scene. I'm not gonna lie. That was... it caught me off guard. Did it get me interested? It did. By a lot? Not really. What actually got me interested was seeing Jesse for the first time and kind of seeing Walter and Jesse, like, interact.
Okay,
like
yeah.
It was that really got me. It was sort of like, okay, so this is the dynamic duo right here. Is, you know, really good chemistry teacher, comes from, like, humble beginnings, and this guy who's just like a punk teenager.
Yeah.
Who knows the ways of the streets.
Kind of.
That was really fun. So, I'm not saying, like, it's like I don't know, man. If you find something good that you like in the first episode, watch it. Because it took me until near the end of the first episode when I got, like, when I understood the reason why it's called Breaking Bad, because of that one line that you will see in the first episode. I just watched the first episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Watch the first episode of every TV show that comes out. I'm gonna start doing that. Like, next on my list is True Detective, because everybody tells me I should watch that. So.
Yeah, there's a show called Prison Break. People were like, watch it.
Yeah, Prison Break was pretty...
I think that kind of follows some of that similar moral ambiguity, because, like, the dude goes to prison to save his brother who's framed. It also ties in with the not trust the government, because there's, like, a government conspiracy that, like, put him in jail. Like, his brother was, like, the fall guy in a conspiracy.
I've seen, yeah.
And that, like, that's the premise of the show. But I've noticed about that is a lot of TV shows that are not just amazing, you know, like Breaking Bad, for example, is they have the kind of the season 2 curse, where, like, after the second season, it's just like, because it either gets repetitive or they just...
That is so true. I really enjoyed the cinematography of season 3, Breaking Bad. However, it actually did kind of feel repetitive.
Yeah, I mean, like, you'll get in the slump of... Breaking Bad I think is not that way as much as most shows.
But, definitely.
But I think a vast majority of shows, like most TV shows, I think.
The same thing happens in Game of Thrones, except it's not really like after season 2. It's the newest season. It's season 5 that really kills it. And it's mostly just because of poor everything all around. In my opinion, the first half, as I rewatched it, the first half is just... it's actually kind of good. It's actually great. Like, it's actually magnificent. Now, it's actually all right. The only problem is that we've seen the same stuff the past 4 seasons. You know?
Yeah.
But they've always like changed it up a little bit, not too much, but just the right amount. And really, it's just because they kept to the books. But okay, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna be a book purist, but books are better. Just saying.
Yeah.
You should still watch the show because you don't want to read like thousands of pages. You can go for it.
It's just personal preference.
Yeah.
Read, don't read it.
I started with the show. I read like the first book. Like, hey, this is a good book, but I have a show I can watch. However, that's not really the thing anymore. The problem is that season 5 it drifts away from the books, and it's just not that good. I still really enjoyed it. It's still like that season alone is better than most of the shows out there on the market, but it's definitely not comparable to the last 4.
Yeah, I've kind of noticed the whole show's fall with, even Walking Dead, which, keep in mind, I do like that show a lot, but when the main character starts becoming kind of a wuss.
Ooh, is that happening? Because I stopped watching Walking Dead after season 2 because I was like,
the season 2 curse, yeah. Well, the season 2 was actually was much better than season 1, I thought, because they actually got more of a profit and all the budget. And
no, it was season 2.
I thought
was
season 2 was great, but what happens is, not to spoil too much, but basically, something happens, and then the main character just kind of becomes a wuss, and he's not really the same hero character anymore. And I think when you change up too much like that and just kind of throw the show off its principle, it just doesn't work.
Well, did it make sense what happened? Like, does it make sense why he is the way he is now?
I would say it makes sense. Try not to give away all the spoilers and stuff, because it definitely is. Like, that would be a huge spoiler.
Yeah.
So I'm being ambiguous to, like, not piss off people that haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
I think it was Seinfeld who the comedian Seinfeld, actually.
Yeah.
He was offered like several $1 million.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He turned that down.
To make another season of Seinfeld, but like I think what he was trying to avoid is the show becoming something like where it has that kind of season 2 curse type thing where it's just not good after the second season. I've heard a lot of shows like that where people will explain the show and be like, yeah, first 2 seasons was great, and
then it sucks.
Then it's either sucks or it's okay, or it's just more of the same, or it's just. So I think the season 2 curse. I'm coining that term. You heard it first
season
here.
Season 2 curse
From None of the Above podcast. Andrew's coinage of that term. But I think it's true. I think that's a thing that shows need to overcome one way or another. Or just make shows like 2 seasons and then like change it up. Maybe have spin-offs or something like that.
See, there was
that's just not.
In my opinion, that's really where I wanted Game of Thrones to go. I actually kind of anticipated that this new season of season 5 would just be the bane of Game of Thrones in general. Keep in mind, it's still great and it's worth the watch, but it's just, it would have made so much more sense to end it like, I think it was season 4 or season 3. It would have made so much more sense to end it there. Because it was a perfect ending. It completely transitions like all of the characters, and then you could come back and revisit it later, at a later point, when, book was actually finished, or had at least gotten Winds of Winter pushed through. And then it would have been a great time to start it back up. And, there was a lot of things HBO could have done. But yeah, so, there's that. But yeah, season 2 curse is definitely real. I don't see it nearly as much in Breaking Bad. Of course, season 3 was not necessarily on par with the other 2 seasons, but it was definitely awesome. Because the entire show was awesome. And you can obviously tell that a lot of Breaking Bad it's not improv. It's not like they just kind of like throw in episodes to meet like a quota. They had a long time. Like, I feel like this took a lot of resources to fully flesh out.
Yeah, just even the story.
The scheme of events. The basic
story.
The skeleton must have taken the longest amount of time. Because there's so many callbacks to previous episodes, which is why this is like literally one of the best binge-watching TV shows out there.
Yeah, because it's all fluid, and then you watch, like, since you just saw an episode, and then you see 2 episodes later that you've seen within an hour, you're like, yeah, I remember seeing that just not that long ago, and it still ties in.
Have you played the Bioshock series?
No. I'm
really?
not that much of a gamer.
Well,
not that much of a gamer. Really.
Back when I was, when gaming was my religion at the time, Bioshock is definitely like that. I'm just speaking to the gamers right now. Bioshock is one of the best series ever made. Just saying. My opinion, story just blows your mind on so many occasions. Not so much with Bioshock 2. Bioshock 2 had its faults, it had its shortcomings. But definitely Bioshock 1. It always had that sort of, oh my goodness, this guy was behind it. You know? Or like, oh my goodness, this guy's a bad guy. But nothing does that more than Bioshock Infinite. I remember first playthrough of that game. Nothing like it. It's one of those, it goes full circle completely, your mind gets wrecked, and you literally have to cope for a few days on what just happened. Kind of like what probably would have happened to me after the Breaking Bad Season 4 finale. Which, like, I'm just gonna say, I was on my couch downstairs, because I was sleeping there, because AC unit's off over here. So anyways. So I was like on the couch, you know, it's like around 2 o'clock in the morning. This is just this morning, actually. Season 4 finale's done. I literally am screaming, like, I'm like, oh my god. It was like insane. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was thinking back, I was like, what is he talking about? But
no.
Yeah, we're trying to stay as spoiler
It's when you see the last like 10 seconds and it's just like all this beautiful flowers.
Yeah, I mean we'll be way more specific and actually talk about this stuff. We'll probably
just have like a dedicated super spoiler video. Yeah. Just like, hey, this is just gonna be spoilers of everything you ever
analysis, and we'll try to do better about that. But since we didn't give that warning beforehand, now we're like handicapping ourselves.
Yeah.
By like not saying the certain things that we're talking about.
If you do not see a spoiler tag on the video, that means there are no spoilers.
Yeah, I mean,
if you do see a spoiler tag, do not watch the video because that will just be a bajillion spoilers.
Yeah, just don't.
This is a rule, precedent we have now established as of like right now.
Right now.
So yeah.
This is all just improv anyway.
Improv, all these rules, regulations, stuff.
So the new rule is. Yeah,
no spoilers at all.
We'll
ambiguity
for this. Well, is it no spoilers just for this episode?
No, I'd say just no spoilers unless there's a spoiler tag.
Unless there's a spoiler tag, so there can be spoilers.
There can be spoilers in future episodes,
and we'll like put it in the title, being like, "Hey,
spoilers!
This will spoil Breaking Bad, or this will spoil." You know,
we'll say it in the video too.
And we'll put it in the title and then say like in the video.
Spoiler alerts and stuff.
And then
do it.
You can give that stuff.
If
just out of courtesy.
any of you, like 5 people watching this want to throw down a comment, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. To rate and comment, subscribe and share.
Yeah, please subscribe. we're gonna throw a party at 10 subscribers. Come on.
And we had something for 15 too. We'll have to like look back in the video and see what it was. Yeah. But it was like, I think show like
12 subscribers is also gonna be a thing.
No, it was 12 and then we bumped it to 15 because we're like, let's do a round number.
Yeah. Okay.
15.
But I feel like 15 is too
needy.
It's not needy, it's just so mainstream. Why can't we just do like 12, 13? 13's a bad number though.
Yeah, that's bad luck, dude. Can't do it.
I don't believe in bad luck, but only when I do believe it, I believe in bad luck. So.
It's bad juju.
Bad juju.
Bad
aura. Anyways,
chakras.
Like it below, comment, share, subscribe, Pinterest it, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Instagram it.
Social media it.
Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat.
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to be able to share it on a few of those, but you can figure it out.
You'll figure it. We
Wise
believe
people.
in you. We believe in you. We think you're smart.
if you literally were able to sit down and watch all of this rambling of awesomeness, then you're awesome. So
definitely.
Alright.
You'll be invited to the party.
Deuces.